they're advancing an argument here that you're creating an extra layer, but also that it's a sweetener or a bribe to the senators so that they can agree with you.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
First of all, I like what my two senators have said in terms of the importance of CDF, because we are starting off from a good place, that everybody understands the importance that this fund, now I think 20-something years later, has done across the country. Yeah. If you come to Tetu, my constituency, we have now completed about 36 JSS laboratories, grade 7, 8, and 9 classrooms. Fully renovated. Some of them are, built, from scratch. We were able to give about 12,000 children bursaries, and we are renovating schools and doing very, very many things, including, some investments in things like electricity. CDF is actually one of the funds that you do not need to walk anywhere more than 500 meters. Even from this citizen radio station, if we walked to the nearest primary school or the nearest secondary school from here, we will be able to see some sort of CDF project in terms of a renovated police station, a school that is, a classroom that has been built, a chief's camp, and things like that. And actually, when you compare the little money that goes to CDF, and some allow me, just indulge me to give this background, because it's important before I answer your question. If you look at the little money that goes to CDF, for example, in my constituency, I just get about 160 million shillings. And I compare sometimes with what my county gets, okay? And it's a comparison that can be made across the country. What counties are getting versus just what members of, CDF funds, the constituency, the development fund kitties are getting, and what they are able, to achieve. Sometimes it is becoming very difficult to identify any tangible county products, county projects, despite billions of money being pumped. I think right now we've pumped...
Even though, up to 70% they use it on recurrent affairs.
Which is sad. And actually, that's a sad thing. Yeah. If we were to one day then kill a CDF and put all this money in counties or even into, the executive, you know what is going to happen. A lot of this money is going to end up, paying salaries and buying tea and flowers, at the expense of our children's learning and things like that. But to your question, Sam, I think the saddest day in Kenya for parents, for our people out there, will be the day we kill CDF. Because finally we'll have killed at least the only last fund that works in this country. And last week, we passed a constitutional amendment because, every time the court has saying CDF is unconstitutional. So parliaments, in this wisdom, led by, in a motion sponsored by Otiende Amolo Senior Counsel and Chep Konga, we passed a constitutional amendment to entrench CDF, GAF, and the Senate Oversight Fund, which I'm surprised the senators are now disowning. Yet it was their creation, but we are going to come to that.
Why do you think it's important, the Senate Oversight Fund?
I will explain. The Senate Oversight Fund, these people have been saying, unless Senate want to be complicit, we all know the challenges that we are having in counties in terms of, some have said in this show, the only thing that we seem to have successfully devolved was corruption. We all know that corruption is a big issue in counties. Nobody denies that. And the senators having a certain amount of money, they'll be able to deploy or even create legislation to deploy some sort of, resources out there that can make it easy for them to know what is happening in counties, for them to know, to be able to engage, governors in a proper way, be able to engage the county assemblies, be able to do some sort of capacity building across the county so that citizens are also aware about what is happening.
Wandeto, I think
in their
previously the courts have decided that it is not the work of the Senate to supervise county assembly. The primary oversight of the county is by the county assembly. Then the Senate will look at the interest of the counties. How do you demarcate that at the time that you're creating a fund saying that they need to go to the locations? Isn't that the work of the county assemblies?
A senator is an elected representative of the people. How do they conduct their business in the counties? How do they even engage the citizen, at least without some sort of structure. If Dan Manzo here wants to call a meeting, how do he even fund it? Let's say a meeting just to tell citizens about what is happening in the county, a meeting just maybe explain to the citizens how they arrived at the 415 billion or the 435 billion and how much money is going to Makueni and what are the sort of things that they have agreed to do in Makueni. Then, if he would say today he does not have any role to the people as far as the representation is concerned, then I think it's almost saying that the senator is not a required person.
But is representation on the ground or in the House? I mean, how does that work?
Representation is both ways. It's a forward and backward integration. You have to be with the people. Okay, because I go to my constituency, I hold sometimes public participation forums, when I'm less...
So how are you facilitated to engage the people?
If I'm doing a public participation forum on projects, it is funded by CDF. It's actually a legal allowed function. Every 2 years, we go to the people and we hold all these meetings to be able to identify projects and programs that we want to focus on.